Okay, this is a test because I've never done this before. But if this ends up working out pretty good, this might be my preferred method these days. So I am currently in my little office setup in my car, and usually this kind of audio for the Dream Decide Do program is actually through a different app, and I just load it into the group, and it's just private. But these next 5 days, October 10th through the 14th, you're going to be able to listen in live to both the audios and the videos. So you all will be able to listen in, and then you're going to be able to see in the comments that I'll post after this video is done, like a direct link if you want to be on the email list so that you get all of the course emails. And then at the end, you'll get like the access to the replays, but then I'll also invite you to the Facebook group. So you should, on the replay of this, see the Facebook group in the description, as long as everything works out with this audio. And you could join the Facebook group there. But then the link that you'll see in the comments is where you'll sign up officially if you want to be on the email list and get all of the things. But the Facebook group will allow you to get all of the course content live a lot faster. And then it'll give you access to other women to just do discussion and things in a more private setting. So it is just women only for the Facebook group. And part of the reason also I wanted to make the live streams public and then invite people into the group instead of making people go into the group first to be able to hear the live streams is just that I've been getting messages from people that have been letting me know privately that they've been listening to my stuff and that I've been helpful. So I just wanted to go ahead and just, when I'm talking or doing an exercise, just try to open that up to the public as much as possible. Because my new thing is going to be doing more women-based programs for now. And I'm getting everything switched over with my trainer to be able to do more of this type of thing. So I wanted to give you some details. This might be a little bit of a long audio, but I just wanted to kind of recap where we've been. So those of you that have been listening in since July, like those of you that did the first Loving Her course, where some of you even got my paperback book, I just want to kind of recap where we've started, because this has been like a whole long journey, and there's definitely at least there's about 5 people that have followed all the way through, and there's 30 people that have come like in and out, and then there's some private people that have messaged me that said that some of the stuff I shared recently was really helpful. So that's kind of where we are with it as far as like the community goes. And then so my plan with this, after I have all of the things that we've done live, is that I'll be putting this together in a format for me to be able to package and be able to do some trainings in the community. So like my goal would be to go speak to like at-risk women and then be able to just send them a link with the audios and the live streams and things that they need so that they could just open it up themselves also. So that's kind of where I'm going with all of this, is that I've built this online platform so that when I go out to speak to groups like I want to, all I have to do is just have people click a button and then everything just unfolds, so that I can kind of create a little following that way, but then also just reach a lot more people. So anyhow, So we started in July. This is going to be now going into the introduction for sure. We started in July with Loving Her, and we went through the different chapters for our training. So just to kind of recap, we've gone from learning how to love yourself first, where we looked into like releasing overfunctioning and loving the woman in the mirror. And then we went into sharing your truth, and we looked at practices like finding loving people in our lives and setting boundaries. And then we also talked about practicing Sabbath, and that if you didn't like the word Sabbath, you could also say just practicing taking time to reconnect with self. So we looked at taking time to meditate and then also give gratitude. And then the last thing we looked at was just caring for your body through strength training and stretching and then healthy meals. So that's all we covered. That was in July. And so what I wanted to do is just set the stage for you to be really able to love yourself first before you went on any kind of change journey, because change journeys are really difficult if you haven't done self-care. So we started with that, and we had about 30 people with that. And now with Dream, Decide, Do, where we're at now, we have about 9 or 10 people in our group. So we still have ladies on our journey with this one. So the theme of Dream in August was to set her free to dream. So we looked at guilt and shame and failure, and we looked at rewriting our history. And we looked at our toxic relationships, like who in our life was supportive or not supportive. We looked at diet and exercise a little bit again, and we just talked about how we don't want to have a bunch of rules. And we looked at protein a little bit more closely, and then just meal patterns. And then we also looked at sabotage. So we wanted to see like where we saw ourselves in our life now, because if we can only see ourselves at a certain point, then that's as far as we'll get. So we set her free to dream in August. And then in September, we moved into Decide. So this is really where we looked at what we wanted and why we wanted it and what we could do each day to start to move into our dreams. But then we also just really broke it down to be pretty simple. So we made a balance wheel, a wheel of life. And we looked at all the different things in our life that were important. And then we just picked 3 things to focus on. And then we just took a handful of little items to really start to focus on. And so then the ladies and I, myself, just kind of walked away from that knowing that we would try to apply some of this information as we came into this last portion. So this last portion, originally it's Dream, Decide, Do, and I was thinking of calling it like Reclaim Her Identity. But then today, as I was sitting down with it, I always knew that wasn't really going to be the title, but I hadn't quite figured it out yet. But really the theme for this portion, it's kind of a funny one because I knew I was going to flip it. It's Dream, Decide, Do. So we looked at what was important in our life in the last training, and then now we're looking at what we're going to do. But in my mind the whole time was that I wanted us to take a step back into ourselves and realize the resources that we already have within ourselves. So I'm not actually going to ask you to make any lists of things that you have to do. What I'm actually going to have us think about is that we can like see ourselves into the future, and we can develop courage, and we can develop strength, and we can develop like self-discipline. And then we also have to be realistic for what's going on in our life. So I wrote some things down. Got my light on now. I'm kind of aware that I look silly in this car, but no one's looking, so. I just wanted to remind us kind of the theme we left off was, what would you be doing today if you decided you were living your dream now? So I've kind of been keeping it a secret, as I was saying. There's nothing you need to do. She's already inside of you. She is already waiting for you to just let her be. And so my questions are, for you, why aren't you choosing to be the woman that you see inside of you? Why do you continue to sabotage? Why do you continue to avoid? Why do you numb yourself? Why do you allow resistance to win day after day after day? And so what I want us to look at these next 5 days is that you can change in a heartbeat, and you can decide to let her be. So everything you are dreaming for has been available to you this whole time. Mainly, as we're looking at going forward, especially for those of you that have been following this whole time, I strongly believe that all of us know inside of us, or we have a picture inside of us, or we've been developing this picture inside of us over this process. So either you've already had it with you, or you have it now with all the exercises that we've been doing. So if you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, later on in the replays, maybe this will make a little bit more sense. But the idea is, we can start to act like the person that we want to be. And there's some steps that go along with that. But then there are some legitimate issues with courage and strength and self-discipline and actually fitting in what we want for our life into our schedule. So we're going to take some practical actions each day. I'll be doing an audio at some point earlier in the day to just kind of get us going on the theme. And then in the afternoons, I'll be going live, like video. So I'll set up somewhere, and then I'll have journaling prompts that go along with what we do for day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you have any questions, you can always put those in the comments, and then I'm going to pop a comment in here also on how you can sign up, just as a reminder, for those email updates, and then so to be officially registered. And then don't forget, if you want to be part of the group, if you're a lady, you can just go in the description of this course, and you can go ahead and just click that and request it to be in the group. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you tomorrow.